Hey guys, welcome back to another week of what's for dinner. So we are jumping right in. This first recipe is chili mac. So I have just browned some ground beef and I am just draining the grease off of it. And then I'm going to add in some beef broth and just let that come back up to a boil. I want to get my meat extra flavorful this way. So adding that in, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in a packet of chili seasoning. This is what's going to give you all of your flavor. Sometimes I make my own, but this particular time I did have a packet on hand, so I went ahead and used that. I will have all the exact measurements down below for you. I found this recipe from Mandy in the Making, I think, and I just kind of adapted it to my own liking. So I will have that typed out down below for you, but then I'm just adding a can of Rotel. And then I have drained and rinsed some beans as well. I think I used two kinds, maybe some kidney beans and black beans. And then next, I am just adding in some garlic to give it a little bit of more flavor. Can never have too much garlic, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and add in some minced onion. We are not big fans of raw onions, so I do like to keep this minced onion on hand. Also, whenever it like infuses with all the liquids and stuff, it expands out to that onion flavor, so it is really good and it's easier than having big chunks of onion. So I'm just gonna let that come up to a boil. Once it is boiling, I'm gonna add in this bag of Velveeta shreds. You can use the regular block of Velveeta, but I don't use it enough in recipes, so I did not want to buy an entire block. And these shreds worked just fine. I think they're like $1 or $2.50 at my Walmart. And then I just boiled some noodles. You can use any noodles that you want. I just had these shells on hand from Christmas, I believe, or maybe Thanksgiving. It's been so long since I made this, I don't remember. But I just added that in. I'm going to let it come back up to a boil, make sure everything is hot, and then it will be ready to serve. So here's what everything looks like when it came together. We just served this with some tortilla chips and some garlic bread, and this meal was really good. You guys should definitely try it. So for this next recipe, we're going to be making a potato and sausage casserole in the crock pot. I found this recipe on Pinterest, so I will link it down below for you. I don't believe I followed it exactly, so I might type it out. It just kind of depends, but I'm just chopping up some potatoes. I did use quite a bit, and I would not suggest using this many. They weren't quite done by the time it was time to eat, so, you know, just adjust it to your liking. But I'm just chopping these up and throwing them in the crock pot. I do always grease my crock pot, so just keep that in mind, especially with this recipe and all of the ingredients that are going to go into it. I definitely recommend greasing the crock pot. So I have this package. I think I got smoked sausage this time, and I'm just going to chop those into bite-sized pieces. We do like to have them a little bit smaller just because we have kids and they won't eat bigger things, so I do chop them up pretty thinly, and then I'm just going to throw this on top of the potatoes in the crock pot. Okay, so the base for this recipe is basically the same as funeral potatoes or cheesy potatoes, whichever one that you call it in your neck of the woods. So it's just cream of chicken, sour cream, and milk, and then there might be some extra seasonings in there as well. Like I said, I will have it typed out down below for you, but I'm just mixing everything in this bowl, and then I'm going to put the sausage in, which in this clip I haven't done yet, but I will. And then I'm just going to throw the sauce on top, and I will cook this in the crock pot on low. I think I cooked it for about 7 hours, but like I said before, with the amount of potatoes that I had, I probably could have cooked it for another hour or so. So just keep that in mind. You know, taste the potatoes. If they're not done, keep cooking. If they are, then stop cooking. You know, pretty self-explanatory. So here's what it looked like when it was all done. You could see the sides are a little, I wouldn't say burnt on, but they're definitely cooked on there. And the cooking spray that I used really helped it not stick whenever I was washing it. So that's just what it looked like when it came out. It was a little bit watery and I couldn't quite figure out why. Maybe I needed to use more soup or something, but anyway, we just served this with some broccoli and some rolls on the side. You like my little kitty plate? I don't like my food to touch, so. Okay, this next recipe is chicken tetrazzini. So you can see that I'm using pretty much the same base as I did as the previous recipe. I don't know why I did this, but I did. It was just part of the meal plan. But I made mine a little bit different this time. So I wanted to grill the chicken on my George Foreman. It has been so long since I used that, and honestly, I forgot that I even had it. But the chicken turns out so good. It's like perfect. It's just perfect every time. It's so juicy. So if you have a George Foreman, let me know down below and let me know how you like it. I have been using it a lot more lately. And yeah, we really like it. So anyway, I'm just making the base for the tetrazzini. Like I said, I will have everything typed out down below for you if you're interested. I use recipes, but I kind of use them as a guideline whenever I'm cooking, and then I'll add my own stuff and take stuff out that we don't like, you know, just as we like it. I've just always kind of been that way. But anyway, I am putting everything together like I said, and then I will get started on the chicken. So now that I have everything mixed together, I'm just going to go ahead and add in my spaghetti. I actually used angel hair pasta, and we have actually really grown to love the angel hair pasta. I just feel like it tastes better for some reason. I don't know. So I've been buying the angel hair versus the thin spaghetti or the regular spaghetti, but I just mix that all together, and then I think I throw it back in the pot just to warm it back up. But anyway, here I am still working on the chicken. I think I marinated this with like lemon pepper, maybe. I don't really remember. And then I'm just going to season it with some more seasoning. I think I'm using the garlic and herb seasoning from Mrs. Dash. I really love that seasoning because it's no salt added, and you can add your own salt. So anyway, we just served this with some corn and crescent rolls, and this was so good. If you don't make anything else from this, what's for dinner, you should definitely try this one. Okay, back at it with the same base. I did not realize that I made so much with this base, but evidently I did. So if you have kids around, cover their ears. So in my house, we call this chicken shit. So I got this recipe on Pinterest a while ago, and it is definitely a staple in our house. So I will leave my recipe down below for you. But basically you're just doing cream of chicken, sour cream, and then some chicken broth, and you're just going to cook this in the crock pot with some chicken breasts just until the chicken's done. I believe I cooked this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours just until it was done. You definitely don't want to overcook it, but so I'm just going to mix that all together, and I have my own chicken broth base. I love this stuff. It is so much more cost effective to buy it this way. I think this big old tub was like $3.50. And you can add as much or as little as you want to make your own concoction of chicken broth, and I highly recommend it. I just get it at Walmart. But yeah, $3.50 versus who knows how much you're spending on chicken broth that's already made for you in the store. It's just so much better and so much easier. So anyways, I'm just adding some more seasonings to this mixture as I normally do. My staple seasonings are usually garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, paprika, and then parsley. I use parsley a lot to make things prettier. If I feel like the dish is looking a little bit bland, I will just add some parsley, and I think it looks so much better, so much more appetizing. So anyway, I'm just mixing that all together, and then I'm going to open up the chicken and throw that in the bottom of a greased crock pot. Once again, make sure you grease your crock pot. And we use the Perdue all organic, cage-free, whatever it is, chicken. And we think it just tastes so much better. I like to do this whenever the chicken is the main ingredient in the dish, especially if I'm like grilling or doing something like that. I will definitely want to use that. But anyway, I'm just putting it in the bottom of the crock pot, and then I will layer the sauce on top and cook it on low for 4 to 5 hours. Okay, so now that everything is done, I'm just going to fish out the chicken and put it in this bowl. Normally, if I want to shred chicken, I will use my hand mixer, but this particular meal, I wanted bigger chunks of chicken because we're going to be serving it with stuffing. So here I am just using a fork to shred it, and I'm just lightly shredding it. You can see it really just falls apart, but I'm just doing it really lightly, and then I will throw it back in the crock pot for about 30 minutes just to let all the chicken, you know, get the juices back in after you've touched it and done your thing with it. So, and then we'll throw that in for about 30 minutes while I get the other stuff ready. Okay, and then here's what it looks like when it is all done. I just served this with some green beans, a garlic bread, and some stuffing. I believe we had turkey stuffing on hand, so that's what I used. It doesn't look very appetizing, but I'm telling you, it is so, so good. You definitely have to try it. So now I'm making tater tot casserole. So I believe this recipe is kind of like a southern thing. I grew up eating this. This was definitely one of the staples in my house, and I do not make it very often because it just reminds me of my childhood, and I don't know, I had it so much when I was growing up that I just don't want it anymore. But my husband did not have it, so he loves it when I make this. So I have just browned up some ground beef. I've started doing that off camera. It's pretty self-explanatory to brown some ground beef, right? And then I am mixing up a can of cream of chicken and a can of cream of mushroom. I know some people use like cream of celery, but we don't like cream of celery, so we just use cream of chicken, cream of mushroom. And then I'm adding the ground beef back in, just gonna mix that all together. Also over to the side there, I have made some tater tots in my air fryer. I cook those about halfway. That is the trick, to cook the tater tots halfway. You know, if you do it in the deep fryer, the air fryer, or the oven, make sure and cook them halfway, because if you don't, they will not get done. So now I'm just adding that ground beef mixture into the bottom of this casserole dish, just spreading it out evenly, making sure that it is all even. And then I'm going to add some sliced cheese to the top. This recipe is not meant to be healthy whatsoever. It is one of those where if you want leftovers, make this. If you have a big family, make this. And if you want something yummy, make this. So now I'm just going to add all the tater tots on top. I know some people add like vegetables and stuff into their ground beef mixture, but we don't do that around here. We'll just serve vegetables on the side and then throw it in the oven for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, just until the tater tots are done, until it's bubbly on the side like this. And then I'm adding cheese to the top as well, throw it back in the oven, and let it all get brown on top. I believe I flipped the broiler on for about 2 minutes as well, just to make it all good. So there is that. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Other than that, I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.